If you looking for me, then keep looking. I never hang long enough, I always keep it pushing. Always on the move, and I ain't never with the bullshit. I'm old school, fool, I ain't tryna be a nuisance. If you looking for me, then keep looking. I never hang long enough, I always keep it pushing. Always on the move, and I ain't never with the bullshit. I'm old school, fool, I ain't tryna be a nuisance.
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the second episode. Yes, welcome back. And if you heard the first one, I got a couple pointers. It's a little too damn long, and I got it. And I'm all over the place, so we'll try to get back and doing exactly what I'm trying to convey. You feel me? So first off, shout out to my wife, because she was in here like, yo, you not going to talk about me a little more? I'm not saying she's all focused on herself, because she's not. But she does bring up a good point. She's one of the main reasons that I was able to change. And not because she changed me or she did anything that made me, the way I am. She just gave me an opportunity to open up and change. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to have somebody next to you. It's a good support system that could give you something like, oh, well, I am this way. And them going, yeah, you are. And I'm glad you finally realize it. And if you need anything, I'm here for you. So it's good to have that kind of person, whether it's, my wife in my life, your family members or your friends or whoever you got to support you and to really understand who you are. Do it. Shit is dope. Like, it really lets you grow. And they don't need to like baby you. They just have to be around, accepting of the weird shit that comes out of you. So then you're like able to grow. Now, that being said, this is something a lot of people don't know because I don't ever talk about it, because this is something that, honestly, it just kind of, it just happened, and it happened so fast. I have two kids. I have Sunny, and I have Elaine. Elaine is my stepdaughter. So I met Elaine's mom when she was, I think, almost a year and a half. And I remember we had first started dating and all that, and she came into my life pretty quick. And I remember I come from a place where I was always alone. So me being alone, I was always like, looking for that family. And I found it. And it was her. And she treated me in a way, and she was teaching me new shit. So when Elaine came into play, I don't know. I wasn't ready to be dad at all. Fuck, honestly, I wasn't ready to be dad ever. Like, up until the past couple years, I really became somebody you're like, damn, that's that guy, that's my dad, you know what I mean? That's what makes me feel cool. But back then, I was just trying to survive, you know what I mean? So I spent time with her. I wanted her to feel, the things I felt and how I see things, and we watch cartoons and we listen to music. And right now she's a big old music person. She doesn't attribute it to me because I wasn't listening to Bowie and shit like that, but I opened her mind, you know what I mean? So from there, I forgot. This sounds so stupid, because a lot of the times when you hear about step parents or step children or whatever, there's always that fine ass line like, yo, this is what it is. You know what I mean? And I think it's because the other parent's always around. But my daughter's father, he was never around. He was just like, yo, I'm out. And he just disappeared off in the wind. So when I came into play and I started to be someone important in her life, she just called me Mace because she couldn't say James. That was it. Like, I was dad. I wasn't a good dad, obviously, because I'm all over the place, and I was all over the place back then. But when that really came into play, it was nice. It really was like, I'm here for you. And she looked up to me in a small way. Obviously, I'm not great. I wasn't great back then, especially, but she looked up to me. So, we had our issues, and throughout the years that we weren't talking or whatever happened between me and my wife, my daughter, boom, I was there for her. I went to her birthdays. I went to this. I went to that. Because at that point, she was my daughter now. She looked up to me. I looked down. I didn't look down at her, stupid ass. I looked up to her, and she was a lot to me. She was another person of me. Because she acted like me. She talked major shit like me. Like, she was like me. So I was there. And I think that's something that is kind of lost on a gang of people. Like, oh, that's my step kid. Like, whatever. I don't even say that shit because I literally just forget it. Like, we've been together our whole life. I roll around like this. She talks major shit like me. I'll be walking by. She goes, "Hey, Dad." I go, "What's up?" "You're fat." Who does that shit? I do to my daughter, and she does it to me. That's who we are. We're giant assholes, and it's not new. Everybody who knows me knows that is a fact. I say dumb shit like that all the time. If you're hearing this and you know who I am and you would never think that I would say some shit like that, that's because I never really opened up to you, and I'm sorry. So again, another extension is this. So yeah, she's gonna turn 16 in a couple weeks, and we've been together that whole time as a family, in and out. Obviously problems, but we're doing pretty good. So I really thank my family for that. And I want to get into like how I make music and why I make music and why I don't go into music. When there was a time and place when I really did music. Like I was 100% about it. I would spend late nights at people's houses or in a studio somewhere, or I'd fucking record in a closet in some dingy ass neighborhood. I don't give a fuck. I want to get this music out. I'm gonna do it, right? But what happened was, it became everything to me, and it was cool. But then you just heard me talk about my daughter, right? You just heard me talk about my wife. You just heard me talk about how I live on couches and shit like that. Music was so much to me that I neglected everything else. And I didn't have the skills to grow as a person either. So when the time really came, and I mean, we were doing shows, me and my homie Javier, we were doing like these little soundtracks with Deadly, shout out to Deadly too. And we were doing these little soundtracks for these little movies and shit. And I was like, oh, that's fucking dope. And we were doing these shows, and he was our manager. And it was like, yo, when are we going to expand? When are we going to go out? When are we going to do this? And I was like, yeah. But after all these years of having my support system and not showing them anything, because I was working all over the place, and I was shit still. I didn't have a job. I didn't have anything. So after all of that, the time came and I was starting to grow, and it was like, check this out. I love making music. It's just creative freedom to just do whatever the fuck you want, and shit, it sounds good to me. I don't give a fuck who it sounds to everybody else. I'm having the time of my life, right? And I was collaborating with all kinds of different people. There are a lot of people who know me simply by my name and not who I actually am. And that's cool. Like, I used to like that shit because we could really get to it. But the time came and it was like, well, what do you want to do? You're going to give this 100%? Or you're going to give your family 100%? And I was just like, oh, shit. Like, it really hit me. To this day, I have 2 tattoos. I have one on my arm that says Genocide, which was our old, moniker. Genocide Productions was like our little production crew or whatever, was me and Javier. And we would put that shit on everything. We would shout it out all the time. And then on the other side, I have a tattoo on my wrist with my wife's name. Another important part of my life, right? So I always used to walk around like, I'm really conflicted here. I want to do music. I want to do all this shit, and I got it on me. But I love my family. Something I never had. Remember, I was chasing this shit. I found it. I caught it. I'm with it. And I'm not here for them because I'm making music. So it sounds dumb. Hey, I honestly think I wouldn't have made it because I'm not one of the people who could just recite all their music. That's a whole nother issue. I got memory problems, like I said. But I had to pick one, and I picked my family. So what I did was I just started working. And my homie Javier, he continued, but he just kept working too. Now he puts more effort into it, but for a good while there, we just gave up on that. Like, hey, well, we got to work for the family. We got to do it with our family. We record on the weekend. Every once in a while, we do this, we do that. And it became a little less, until the point where the music I make is just really for me. Y'all enjoy it and shit. That's cool. Enjoy that shit. Enjoy yourself. If you want to hit me up about it, feel free. But for me, I got to fuck with my family. I got to be there for them. I got to do all this stuff. And I'm not the most punctual person. I'm not the person who washes the dishes and takes care of everything. My wife does all that. Like I said, she's great. But I'm the guy that when you need me, you got me. You're sick. You need to go to the hospital. I got you. Let's roll. So when that time came and they needed me, that's where I was. And that's where I've been. My family, I'm 110% here for them, and they're here for me. So I didn't pursue it because I wanted to put them first. And I think I didn't have the skill set to really just take off and be this phenomenon or whatever people expect that's going to happen because I was too negative. I mean, You can hear it in my voice. I'm very like, I don't know about all that. So that's why I like making music. I enjoy that shit. But it's not my everything. And it never will be, honestly. It's also the ADHD and I'm all over the place. But that's why. So the other thing is, this is kind of interesting. This homeschooling shit is killing me because I don't do it as much. My wife does all that shit. Yes. When I say support system, I mean she's like a fucking steel beam under a freeway. I don't mean like a chair to hold up a corner of a table. I mean like a support beam. And she does a lot of the homework with my son. And we've gotten to the point where he doesn't want to do the homework with me because I'm easily frustrated. I'm all over the place, right? So when the time comes and I'm like, hey, you do this, you do that, I don't want to do that. What do you mean you don't want to do that? This is what you got to do. No, I'm frustrated. Well, I'm frustrated too. Now we're in a place where me and him are going back and forth because me and him are similar. We both have ADHD. We're both bouncing off each other. We both get frustrated. It's a mess. And this is all from just like writing out a sentence. He's way better at math, but writing, he just hates. And because he's like me, he'll rebuttal. He'll talk major shit. You know, he'll be mean, like just mean, you know, like, oh, how come you don't do this? Like, what do you mean? I do that. I do all that shit. It's like, you don't even know how to do anything. Like, what? It's like, no, this is for people who graduated from high school. Like, okay. So now I know I can't share everything with him because they're going to throw it in my face. But he's not wrong. He is not wrong whatsoever. And I hate to admit it. And it makes me smile because he's a smart ass, but he's right. He's 100% right. And I struggle with everything less to a degree than he does. Because he struggles like with focusing, but man, he gets that shit. And my daughter, again, that kid listens to David Bowie at this age. She's been in and out of the Beatles, Queen, all those groups. Not because they were cool at the time or the movies came out. This was before all that shit. She has the records to prove it. So that kid, no problem. I'm talking about a 4.0. Like, she's set. But my son, he's like me. As a matter of fact, there was a moment when we went to the therapy lady for the ADHD, right? And it broke my heart because she said, oh, so he has this, this, and that. Is anybody else like that? And my wife looked at me and she was like, yo, he's just like that. And she goes, oh, cool. He'll be just like you. You'll have similar childhoods. Now, when she said that, shit broke my heart. Because I was like, yo, he's gonna be like me? Like this? Do you want your fucking kid like this? Hell nah. You want your kid to be happy and smart and able to focus. And I was like, and I started to panic. And I really had like a breakdown because I was like, yo, he's gonna be just like me. He's gonna have my childhood. What the fuck? And my wife, again, helped me out. Like, hey, no, he's not. First off, he's not like you 100%. He's also like us. And second, we're here for him. So we do the IEP at the school. We do all that other shit that you need with kids who can't focus. And I mean, we kick that kid's ass. And I don't mean that like in an abusing way. I mean like in a trying to teach him some kind of punishment way. And throughout the years, it's never worked. And it sounds like I'm one of those like dorky parents who goes, oh, my kid just won't listen. And I need to go to fucking, what's that thing called? Dr. Phil. And then he'll be the next Cash Me Outside. No, I'm just playing. But he could be something great. It's just that we need to get him there. And he has obstacles to get there. And I needed those too, but I didn't have no support. Right? So that brought me back. He has all that support from all of us. So we're here for him. Cool. Let's do it. Now, the hard part is doing the fucking homework because that is a mess. Like, my wife is way more level-headed, so she gets the, like, calm, cool him where he's flying and doing it. I don't know if it's because it's me, but he bumps heads with me all the time. It is hurtful, some of the shit he says to me. Not in a mean way, but just so on point that it stings, you know what I mean? Anybody else could say it to me in the street, I could care less. But having your own child just kind of shit on you, it burns a little extra. Just a little bit. Even if it's something small, like, oh, I can't do my homework. You're always eating at this table. Oh, damn it. Right? Because I'm a big guy. What? Why you got to throw that in there? What does that have to do with homework? So, you know, that's the way he is, and I have to do it. And all of you who are doing homeschooling, good Lord, God bless all of you. I don't know how you're going to do it, and I don't know how you've been doing it, but I know in the end you guys care, so you guys do it. So good for you. I mean, some of these teachers are just dumb. They send the dumbest thing over here, and that's okay, because everybody's stressing out in different ways. So good for you guys. Keep that up. What I want to talk about too is there's a story that happened in Palmdale. And I always tell this story of my cousin, and he hates it because it doesn't make him look good. It doesn't make me look good. But I wanted to share it because this is what sort of changed my life in a bigger way. Now, I had been like shot at and stupid shit like that at parties or like getting in fights or, you know, getting hit with like pipes and shit. But my thing was I was never really in like danger to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Like you feel like the adrenaline running through you, but you're not really hurt or you're not going to die. This one I was going to die. So me and my cousin, Johnny, which I love you, fool, you know I do. And we were rolling one night, and this is the night though. I just got to Palmdale. I had all my shit in a bag. Again, I was like a drifter. So I had all my shit in a bag. I showed up to Palmdale. I was going to stay with him for a while. This is when I was first going to start living at that shop where they do smogs. So me and him are chilling. We're drinking at this guy's house. So me and him both get real drunk. And it's time to leave, obviously. So he's walking up to the car and he goes, all right, fool, let's go. I say, hey, fool, but you've been drinking. He goes, you too. I said, Dick, how are we going to get home? I'm going to drive us home, Dick. Well, that makes perfect sense, right? I've been drinking. Let's go. So we hop in the car, and I remember it was a Mercury Cougar. It was green. And Palmdale's really long. Like, the streets are really long. So you're flying over there either way. It's about 50 miles an hour each street. Like, long streets in Palmdale if you've never been there. So we're rolling down the street, and we're doing about 60, 70 in some parts. And we go over this hill, right? And as we go over this hill, I feel my whole fucking body lift off of the seat. This fool is flying. His eyes are dry. Like, we're really drunk driving, like, for reals. So as we're going up the hills and we're bouncing, we're doing all this shit, I go, oh, no. Like, shit, like, we're going to die. So I put my seatbelt on, like a wiener, because that's who I am. So we end up on, I think it's 40th and R. No, my bad. We Palmdale Boulevard and R. So, no, that's not right. Sierra Highway and R. My bad. There we go. So as we're coming up on it, we're coming up, what is it? Yeah, we're coming north on Sierra Highway, and we're going to make a right on R. A left on R, my bad. I'm so bad with directions. I apologize, everybody. If you were trying to get somewhere over there, you're screwed. So we end up coming up way too fast into the turn. I'm talking about like, that's maybe a 30 mile an hour turn if you're trying to go really fast. This fool's going like 60. So what happens? This is a Mercury Cougar. This isn't like a F1 racing car. This is trash. So the car spins as we're turning. So we're not turning, we're sliding. So the car's turning sideways, we're sliding. The wheels are going. Like I'm saying, there's smoke coming out of them. I can hear them as we're sliding across the intersection. And bam, I see my life just flash between my eyes. Not really, but figuratively. Like I really felt like, oh, this is it. Stupid. This is it. This is your moment. Good job. We're sliding, and there's two poles. And there's the light pole that's the one for the light that's metal, and then there's a wood one that's for the, I think, electricity or the phone line. So one's on each side, right? And we're coming in on that left turn. We're sliding, and right when that, I feel like because I'm in the passenger side, I'm gonna go right into that metal pole. That's it. Fuck it. The dream's over. And right at that moment where I'm about to slide into the pole, I don't know what the fuck happened, but traction hits the tires. So once the traction start going, boom, 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 instead of going sideways, it goes straight. And it goes straight into the fucking pole. And my cousin, no seatbelt, forehead goes right into the steering wheel with his chest. So I mean, this is a real crash. So once we crash, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I hop out, and the car's like smoking and stuff, and this was like, quick, we gotta get out of here. So he's trying to drive out of there, and I hear clack, 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 clack. And I'm like, what is that? So he goes, I don't know, but we gotta go. And it's the axles. They're broken. The car ain't going nowhere, right? You just slammed into a pole. It's steam coming out of it. It's going clack, clack. It's done. So we start walking down the street. And as I'm walking down the street, I noticed this fool's bleeding everywhere. So I'm trying to wipe his face and I'm trying to see where we're going. So we're like maybe like a half mile from the shop. So I'm like, let's get to the shop and then we'll go from there. We'll regroup, right? So we leave the car there. Again, this is like a major intersection during the day because a lot of cars go through there. But we leave the car there. We end up walking down the street. We were at a club earlier before that, so we had little wristbands, right? As we're coming up, we're next to this Jack in the Box, and the Jack in the Box has the cops in the fucking driveway getting food. So as they're there, I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna get pulled over. We're going to jail. I go, wait, my hat. I always have a hat on, right? So I take my hat off. I wipe his face from the blood, and then I cover his bleeding forehead with the hat. So he's seeping blood into my hat as we're walking down the street, trying to avoid the cops, right? So as we're walking by, we don't pay attention to them. They don't pay attention to us. This was all over the place. He's dropping his phone. It's breaking in pieces. I'm going, right? So as we finally get going, we make it to the shop. Bam. I go, let's go inside the shop. We open the door because he has a key. This fool got hit so hard, he forgot the damn combination to the shop. So the ADT, whatever alarm starts going off like crazy. So I'm like, fuck, we gotta get out of here. So we run out the back of it, which is a giant gate, which I'm a big guy. So I wasn't as big then, but still, I had to jump this giant ass gate onto the train tracks, then cross the train tracks and jump into the bushes in this little walkway that they made look like a little forest area. So we're now in the bushes just sitting there like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know what to do. And then it hit me, his girlfriend, right? Shout out to Nancy if you hear this, because this is you. She comes pick us up, and I got the phone to work, and I go, look, he's drunk, blah, blah, blah. We messed up. Come get us. Whoop-de-whoop. Let's go. She comes through, picks us up. We drive by. The car's still there steaming, busted. We drive by the car, and she's like, what the fuck? You guys were in there? I said, yeah, man, we really messed up. What do we do? What the hell do we do? So she takes us back to her house, and he's busted up. So she's cleaning off his face and all that. And she goes, hey, this fool has a lot of mechanic friends. I'm pretty sure one of them's a tow truck. So, oh, all right. So what's that fool's name? And she goes, I think it's Fox. So Fox goes, and he gets the car. And I was like, cool. I call him, all that's done. He shows up to the house, and I go, yo, like, what's up, man? He goes, hey, how you doing? I said, yeah, well, we're okay, and he's better. My cousin snapping out of his whatever the hell he was in, like some kind of walking coma. And he goes, so what happened? He goes, nothing. So what do you mean nothing? He goes, yeah, I just picked up the car. Nobody was there. I just picked it up, and it was smoking, and that was it. Here it is. You want to put it in the garage or what? And I'm looking at Fox like, well, for reals? That's it? He goes, yeah, the car's fine. So I was like, okay, like shove it in the garage. So this car's in Nancy's garage, busted as shit. Johnny's face is all fucked up. His forehead has a big old gash on it. Now, if you look close, he still has the scar, but it's real small. And I'll never forget that memory because I remember thinking, when you drink and drive, like, it's really bad, right? And I always tell people, don't drink and drive. That's really bad. And I would never do it because I had been in a lot of those. But that was one of those moments where I was like, yo, I was supposed to go into that pole. I could feel it. That car was sliding like crazy. And yet, right when it catch traction, I'm talking about it caught traction and it jumped the curb. That's how close we were to the pole. Not just like, oh, we slid into the end where the little dip is where people walk. No, I'm talking about it jumped the curb at the end before hitting the pole. So that right there I attribute to being lucky. Someone watching over me in some sense, and me being like something different. Something that wasn't so easily just thrown away in that moment. And I wonder if other people feel like that too. People have been shot or people that have been hurt and people that get to live through like losing a limb. Like, yo, I'm special in that way, which I felt. I didn't lose a limb or nothing, but that's quite a story for me to walk away from and then for us to have no consequences. So I took that as a sign like I need to settle down. And I came back from Palmdale and I did it right. So that was like one of those stories I wanted to share because somebody asked me like, what about your son? I said, I wouldn't want my son to go through no shit like that. That's not good for anybody. And I got lucky. That doesn't mean anybody else will. Because I've known people that drunk drive and die. So that's not good. Don't do it. I'm not preaching to you, obviously. I'm just telling you what happened to me. So now we've gone through all these other topics. I got to get to the main one, which is, this whole, this George Floyd thing. Like, yo, this shit is wild. I just got off the thing and they're talking about, they just vandalized the city bus in LA that I'm so glad I don't drive in LA anymore, right? Or I'm at work at all, because that would have been me or some shit like that. I have a weird luck with people. So all that shit going on down there, I feel it. I really do feel it because this is wrong. All of this shit is wrong. And the thing that people don't understand is I completely sympathize with those people feeling angry that they're being marginalized and they're being just treated like second-class citizens. Like, I completely understand it. At the same time, all the little details are what throw me off. Like, there is no peace when things like this happen. This is why they're rioting. This is why they're protesting. This is why they're lighting cars on fire. But at the same time, is that the way to go about it? No. You're blowing up all this shit. You're burning all this shit. That's kind of fucked up. Like, it's for you and the community. Like, you're fucking ruining your shit. At the same time, I completely understand the mob mentality, where you're part of the group. If everybody else is burning cars, shit, you're burning cars too because you see everybody else do it. Does that mean you're not thinking for yourself? In a way, yeah. But at the same time, it's psychological. There's a real truth to you being part of the group. And if you think the group isn't doing anything wrong, you'll do it too. So I really hope that there's something that comes out of this. That's something that we get somewhere we want to be. Like, they change some of the laws or the procedures where they really discriminate against certain people. I hope that does change. But I'm also very realistic. And shit is rough. And some shit isn't going to change. I mean, this has been going on for a long ass time. There's always been that discrimination with black and white, then black and brown, and we have our own fucking problems, and people are having their race wars, and then it comes down to gangs, and the gangs are having their problems in their neighborhoods, and like, it is systematic the way this is all happens, and how they put everybody in their place, and how they keep you so small that you think you can't do anything. So I understand that after them putting you there, you feel that you gotta fucking riot. You feel that you gotta destroy some shit. You need your voice to be heard, and I understand it. At the same time, I understand where people are like scared to go outside because their shit's burning down. But then people are scared to go outside in general because they get shot by the cops. It's not everybody. It's not every cop, obviously. It's every individual case, my bad. But still, it's real. It happens. It's out there. So at this time, I really don't want to take a side. Because again, I'm a conflicted person. And my confliction is I can't pick right or wrong. I live in the gray. The gray area is where I live. Like, yo, obviously, he shot somebody. He should go to jail. Cool. But he shot him because of this. So maybe he shouldn't go to jail. I said, whoa. Are you flip-flopping, bro? Yeah, I am. I can have an opinion. I'm an intelligent person. I can do what I want. And I believe that some of this, yes, some of this, no. Maybe in the middle. And a lot of people don't like that opinion because you have to be right or wrong. Everything is black and white. But no, it's gray. It's all gray. Because if you think something's right, the other person thinks it's wrong. The other person thinks it's right. You might think it's wrong. So it just depends on which perspective you're at. So I feel both sides. I do. And I can't pick one because in different scenarios, I agree. Which ones? Honestly, that's on you. I can't tell you how to feel, what to think, and I won't do that in this podcast because I wouldn't want anybody to do that to me. But just know that this was wrong, and I hope that some kind of peace comes out of it. And I don't disagree with the protesters. So, take it as you wish. This was it, guys. Thanks for listening to me. I'm Jet again. Have yourself a good day, and
I ain't never with the bullshit. I'm old school, fool. I ain't trying to be a nuisance. I never hang around even when I was young, and when I did, it turned to shit. So I had to stand tough, but that ain't me, and I ain't see the damage it did. Turn a nice boy to a hard ass kid, but don't trip. I'm working out the kinks, learning all the awful things. I was part of real hard up when I started losing dreams, and 8 ball got me started. I'm over at Chris' house, he living by the greens without sleep